that language and the symbols are also connected to extraterrestrial sources as well. Not just the idea of physical ET beings such as myself, but other dimensional levels of guides and spirits and so on and so forth. Getting clarity of the definitions, getting clarity of the belief systems is critical, especially when you are dealing with core beliefs, because as the name core belief implies, you have set these belief systems up in layers, like an onion. Often it will be easier for you to peel them away, get down to the core, to understand the underlying foundation that supports and maintains and perpetuates all the other beliefs on the upper layers. But in giving yourself layers, and in dealing with the outer layers or the top layers, however you wish to look at it, doesn't matter, first, dealing with them first and peeling your way through them, it gives you practice. It gives you experience in dealing with beliefs. And getting down to the core ones will allow you the greatest changes in your life, and will give you the techniques, the tools, the capacity to deal with any other beliefs that may come up from other timings that may occur in your life from that point forward. So dealing with the core issues, the core belief that supports all the other ones, even though you may have peeled your way down to the core and gotten to the core and made changes on a core level, this does not mean you have not set yourself up to explore other things, that you may not bring other belief patterns in at another time. And those patterns will connect to the core belief as well, and in dealing and learning how to deal with the core belief, you will be better able to handle those other levels of beliefs when they come up in a different arena, in a different area of your life. But all those upper layers will connect to the same basic core. And that's why it's so important to get a handle on what that core is, so you can handle all the different layers as they arise at different times in your life. So definition, clarity of definition, the second component, we will explore that as well this day of your time. Desire, definition, and dedication. Dedication, very crucial in this idea of allowing your exploration of core belief to stick, to work, to manifest, to create in your life an experience of change. Dedication, what do we mean by that? In a sense, it's like saying commitment to the self, to really make it the most important thing, the most paramount thing in your life, to explore these core beliefs and to change them. Dedication also connects into another thing we have talked about many times, which has to do with behavior, the actions that you are willing to take on behalf of what you say you desire to do, on behalf of the changes you say you desire to make. Dedicating yourself in your behavior to acting on those things that are representative of getting in touch with those core beliefs and making the changes to become more of yourself. The behaviors that are representative of the person you say you ultimately would prefer to be. Dedicating yourself to choosing through your actions only those things vibrationally representative, only those things behaviorally representative of the person you say you wish to be, of the person and the life you say you prefer that person to have. So that in thought, word, and deed, You constantly reinforce with your dedication to choosing only those things that you really do have the desire, most important of all, to be that person you say you prefer to be. Without that dedication, there is no reinforcement and no laying out of a conduit for the desire to manifest. Dedication, very important component, choosing only those things that are truly representative of the person you believe you are becoming or wish to become. The fourth D, detachment. This may sound completely and paradoxically contrary to the idea of desire, and in some senses it is, but it is not. Not at all. It is quite complementary. By detachment, again, we simply mean the neutrality that is so important that diffuses the idea of built-in meaning, the recognition and awareness that there is no built-in meaning, and the willingness to put the meaning you prefer into every situation that comes along, every situation that happens. But even more so than that, the detachment, not in a judgmental way, not in a negative way, but the detachment from all things that are not representative of your desire and your dedication and your ability to clearly define what you are and what you are not. Detachment also from the idea of beliefs that do not serve you. For when you have the strong desire, and when you have the clear definition, and when you have the powerful dedication, you will detach from the things that don't serve you. You will recognize what they are more clearly. You will discern what they are more clearly. And you will simply realize they are not you. That certain things are not vibrationally you. And you will detach from them. Again, not in a judgmental way, but in a compassionate way, through the simple observation and awareness that a thing simply isn't you. It's not your truth. It's not who you prefer to be. It's not representative of the behavior or the actions or the circumstance of the person you say you desire to be, of the being you know you are. So detachment from the things you are not is what paradoxically will then reinforce and amplify and magnify, bringing it full circle, the desire to be who you are. This is an amplification process. You start with desire, and you go through the definition, and you go through the dedication, you use it to arrive at the kind of detachment that will clear out the things that don't belong and allow the desire, like a fire, to burn that much more brightly in you and illuminate more clearly for you the things in your definitions that don't work for you, and drive you more strongly to dedicate yourself to being who you really prefer to be, thus then arriving once again at the state of detaching in a compassionate way from those things that don't serve you, so that can make more room for your desire to burn even brighter. And you amp yourself up and amp yourself up and amp yourself up in this way through this 4-step process. And that is why, if any one of those key components is missing or left out or not as fully utilized as it could be, you will then create the difficulty because you will be breaking the circuit. This is a complete circular, self-realizing, self-magnifying, self-amplifying idea. And all of those things are equally important in the holistic approach of getting the experience in your life of this technique and these ideas really working for you. Really working for you. So, again, desire, definition, dedication, and detachment will allow you to truly disassemble the beliefs that don't work for you. Disassemble the personality that you may have been taught to be, and will allow you to assemble a new you in a very experiential way, a very experiential, manifesting, physical way. We bring this tool to you now at this time because now is the proper time for this tool in you. Use it or lose it. It's up to you. It's up to you. Now, we will go into these a little bit more deeply, but let us give an overview, as we have already begun to do, of the next diagram, which would be in your understanding the middle diagram, what has been referred to as the Anogrammatic circuit. The 9 circles in a square. This is not so much itself a primary tool as it is an assisting tool in this overall process and experience. It will help in the way that what you might call an affirmation will help to focus you. It's a focusing mechanism. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be, and is not designed to be, completely a conscious mechanism. It will operate on a multitude of levels within your conscious and subconscious and higher conscious selves. The saying at the bottom is generally a loose translation of what the symbols mean in the circles, read as a sentence, read as an idea in context. These symbols are derived from what you know to be ancient Phoenician symbols. The reason this was chosen is because those symbols are not only a precursor to certain other very strongly vibratory languages on your planet, such as Hebrew, and they dig deep into the vibration of your being, whether you are Hebraic or not. Doesn't matter. There's another level to this altogether, tonally, vibrationally, that these symbols represent. And it also detaches, to some degree, your consciousness from the idea that it represents any particular culture, since the idea of the Phoenician culture no longer really exists on your planet intact. So it takes you to an ancient space that in some senses goes around or leaps over or goes through a lot of your expectations about what language is all about on your planet today. It goes to the undercurrent, the foundation. In a sense, it can be called a core language, and so it's appropriate for what we are doing. That language and the symbols are also connected to extraterrestrial sources as well. Not just the idea of physical ET beings, such as myself, but other dimensional levels of guides and spirits and so on and so forth. And many of these symbols were, in a sense, received and given from those sources to your people in ancient times, because they represent certain ideas, certain vibrations that key into the matrix of the meanings that you typically give to things on your planet. So they work well hand in hand with the patterns and meanings you have automatically set up within yourself, and are good for loosening those meanings up by setting up a sympathetic or empathetic vibrational tonality that unlocks you from certain patterns and expectations as you look at the symbols from the center. The dot in the center, go to the upper right-hand corner first. That is the eye. Going down, then you will understand it progresses through the idea of mouth and hand, and cutting across the bottom. The middle symbol in that sense is water, which is transition and change. And then going to what you would call the bottom of the left-hand column of circles, then going into the idea and the symbol that represents path or fence, in a sense, that you would follow. And going up to the window, and then upward to the door, and then going to the right, the center symbol above the dot, the circle with the cross in it, which represents the unknown. And so then in reading the sentence that is vibrationally representative of how these symbols work together, you will understand that it is when you start from the inner being of yourself and in physical reality express yourself through sight and through sound and through touch, in the way that is cohesive in what we are talking about today, in those manners of desire and dedication and definition and detachment, then in thought, word, and deed in that way will you cause the transition, will you cause yourself to dissolve into the water, dissolve the crystalline patterns and reform them by following the path to the windows and doors that lead to the unknown, which opens up your reality and brings you back to the center of your being in a very powerful way. So focusing on this as a kind of meditative mudra will allow you to help yourself focus on the principles that we have talked about, the 4 Ds. It will give you some focus. It will put you in the proper state of mind, shall we say. Now, the final diagram, which is a collection of 19 circles with what you might call a type of jagged spiral that connects them. We will get into this more deeply as this communication continues, but in an overview, a general overview, this is a symbol that comes directly from our civilization's history. It is something we created in our civilization as a representation and an understanding of how to spiral downward through different dimensions into the core of your being, and then spiral outward from that core, upward through different dimensions into manifestation. In some senses, this could be called a neurological spiral. We did not want nor instruct there to be the name put on the page, because there should be nothing else in your vision when focusing on this image other than the image itself. And it represents the idea of going down through the layers of your beliefs to the core, and coming up from the core through new beliefs and outward into manifestation, following that spiral. And as you can see, dimensionally speaking, the spiral itself, when you look at it in a certain way, actually takes on 3-dimensional characteristics. It sort of looks like an unfinished cube or box. Certain lines seem to come toward you. Certain lines seem to go away from you. So it fulfills the idea in a 2-dimensional plane of an actual multi-dimensional path that you actually are taking when you focus on this image, and it actually lets you pass through different dimensional and neurological levels of your belief system to the core and brings those ideas from the core back out into a 3- and 4-dimensional manifestation. It's a very, very powerful gazing tool that will, in a sense, change literally your dimensional perspective of who, what, where, and when, and why, and how you are, and how you manifest yourself. So, set these aside for the moment. We will get back to these tools in a while. But at this time, let us focus a little bit on our journey toward accessing core beliefs. Joe and Safine say hi hi. Oh, all right. They also say hi hi.
Well, we say hi hi to them too.
All right. What about saying hi hi as well?
Hi hi.
Hi hi.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you
That was lovely.
for allowing us to share a portion of our experience of life.
Yes, we're looking forward to more.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I just want to thank
Speak
you.
up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
Sorry. I just want to thank you for acting as a reflection for me.
We thank you for allowing us to do so.
I have a question about instant manifestation.
Instant manifestation, yes.
I know that everything instantly manifested and all through the time delay.
Yes.
Time
delay, remember, time delay is just an illusion.
Right.
There actually is no such thing as a time delay.
Okay.
There is always instant manifestation, every moment. It's just that what you instantly manifest in the next moment may not appear to look very different than what you were manifesting the moment before. But it is completely different. The way you would then recognize that you're always instantly manifesting is to create the next instant manifestation to look very different from the one before it. That's how you'll tell you're instantly manifesting. That's how instant manifestation would be revealed, but you're already instantly manifesting, but most of you are doing it in such a way that you're creating a sense of flow and continuity in such a slow change appearance that it appears as if there's a time delay when no such thing exists. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So, where do you wish to go with this idea from here?
I want to...
Speak up.
Sorry. I wanted to create a device or a thing that allows instant manifestation.
But you are the device or thing that creates instant manifestation.
I know that, but...
You want to create a reflection, a simulacrum
Yeah.
of that.
It would be an equivalent of the controls of the holodeck.
You may do that if you wish. What is the first thing your imagination tells you as what would be the best way to approach creating such a simulacrum?
It tells me to start getting rid of my belief systems.
No, not getting rid of them, transforming them.
Bypassing them, yeah.
From what to what? Can you pick a specific belief you have now that is not allowing you to do this and tell us what you would like to transform it into that would allow you to do it?
It would be the simple belief that, we walk around the world and, we interact and we touch a wall and it's there. That kind of belief, whatever that is.
All right. And what kind of a belief can you actually replace it with that would allow you more flexibility and malleability in the illusion of space-time?
Well, I was thinking about beliefs as maybe like a virus. Could I program a belief to be a virus and take out the beliefs in the way?
All right. You can do that.
Okay. The zone, neutral zone that you were talking about,
Yes.
I assume that's a method to get that done?
It is one permission slip that takes advantage of certain strong underlying archetypal common energies for you all. So yes, it might work for you as well. If you wish to apply any specific twist to it in your imagination, feel free to do so, because your imagination knows what it's doing when it does that.